I am Alex Carusillo. I run the advertising product at Chartbeat. Chartbeat measures attention on the internet. We're here to move our customers beyond kind of basic proxies for engagement like clicks or hovers or time on site and towards something that focuses on what visitors are actually reading. We give this data to publishers so they can write better stories, ad sales teams so they can sell better content, and brands so they can find the best places to talk to people. So what are the proxies for attention is interesting because the whole internet is sort of looking for how do we better capture people's attention. And it's really hard. I mean, it's really hard knowing what people are paying attention to and what they care about. And it's all we see advertisers look for. So we've built these insane internet experiences, these roadblocks, these auto-playing videos, these skins that kind of cross across the page, like these things that are kind of terrible for a visitor. And we're doing it because we're looking for attention. And when that stuff fails, we find ourselves with eye tracking, we find ourselves with panels, we find you with, people sitting over your shoulder while you read a web page. And I guess for the pitch for Chartbeat is what we think is that stuff is invasive or it's terrible to the user or you don't get a reasonable census. What we love about the way we look at stuff is it's kind of as close as you can get to eye tracking while also being passive. Active exposure is a metric we've developed that looks at how long people are actually paying attention to things on the web. What it is we have a little piece of JavaScript that sits on our customer's site and checks in with their visitors every single second, sort of saying, what are you doing, what are you doing, what are you doing? And from that we can answer a couple things. One is how much time people are spending actually reading content on the page. We can say, hey, people spent 2 minutes reading this story because we saw them move their mouse and press their arrow keys. They were paying attention. And on the advertising side, we can actually say these people spent 30 seconds with this ad in view, 15 seconds with this ad in view. And we know that it wasn't just on the screen, but they were paying attention. So one thing that we've initially experienced some trouble with going out was viewable impressions have kind of rushed to the market over about the past year and a half. And we used to talk about what we did as, the next step of viewability. We said, great, it's good to know if an ad was seen, but once it's seen, you gotta know was it seen for 10 seconds, 20, 30, 40, 50 seconds. And to be honest, we had a lot of trouble with that because that's just not where the market was. What we realized was that this whole conversation, the whole viewability conversation shouldn't be an on or off switch, it shouldn't be binary. You should say, was an impression seen? That's good. We should really say is, for how many seconds was that impression seen? And if you're selling pizzas on the internet, maybe an impression seen 1 to 5 seconds is all you're looking for because people are gonna click or they're not gonna click. But if you're trying to sell cars, if you're trying to sell a lifestyle, you wanna look at impressions that exist for longer periods of time. And so what we're hoping to do is not knock over viewability, not knock over impressions, but give kind of elite publishers a chance to talk about longer impressions as having more value if it's right for their clients.